The next class are the street buyers, under which denomination come the purchases of hareskins, old clothes, old umbrellas, bottles, glass, broken metal, rags, waste paper, and dripping. After these we have the street finders, or those who, as I said before, literally pick up their living in the public thoroughfares. They are the pure pickers, or those who live by gathering dogs' dung, the cigar end finders, or hard-ups, as they are called, who collect the refuse pieces of smoked cigars from the gutters, and having dried them, sell them as tobacco to the very poor. The dredgermen, or They are the pure pickers, or those who live by gathering dogs' dung, the cigar end finders, or hard-ups, as they are called, who collect the refuse pieces of smoked cigars from the gutters, and having dried them, sell them as tobacco to the very poor. The dredgermen, or coal finders, the mudlarks, the bone grubbers, and the sewer hunters. Under the fourth division, or that of the street performers, artists, and snowmen are likewise many distinct callings. The street performers, who admit of being classified into A. mountebanks, or those who enact puppet shows, as Punch and Judy, the Fantocini, and the Chinese shades. B. The street performers of feats of strength and dexterity, as acrobats or posturers, equilibrists or balancers, stiff and bending tumblers, jugglers, conjurers, sword swallowers, salamanders or fire eaters, swordsmen, etc. C. The street performers with trained animals, as dancing dogs, performing monkeys, trained birds and mice, cats and hares, sapient pigs, dancing bears, and tame camels. D. The street actors, as clowns, Billy Barlows, Jim Crows, and others. 2. The street showmen, including shows of A. Extraordinary persons, as giants, dwarfs, albinos, spotted boys, and pig-faced ladies. B. Extraordinary animals, as alligators, calves, horses, and pigs with 6 legs or 2 heads, industrious fleas, and happy families. C. Philosophic instruments, as the microscope, telescope, thumoscope. D. Measuring machines, as weighing, lifting, measuring and striking machines. And E. Miscellaneous shows such as peep shows, glass ships, mechanical figures, waxwork shows, pugilistic shows, and fortune-telling apparatus. 3. The street artists, as black profile cutters, blind paper cutters, screevers, or draughtsmen in colored chalks on the pavement, writers, screevers or draughtsmen in colored chalks on the pavement, writers without hands, and readers without eyes. The street dancers, the street Scotch girls, sailors, slack and tight rope dancers, dancers on stilts, and comic dancers. The street musicians, as the street bands, English and German, players of the guitar, harp, bagpipes, hurdy-gurdy, dulcimer, musical bells, cornet, tom-tom, etc. The street singers, as the singers of glees, ballads, comic songs, nigger melodies, psalms, serenaders, reciters, and improvisatori. 7. The proprietors of street games, as swings, high flyers, roundabouts, puff and darts, rifle shooting, down the dolly, spin 'em rounds, prick the garter, thimble rig, etc. Then comes the 5th division of the street folk, viz., the street artisans or working peddlers. These may be severally arranged into 3 distinct groups. 1. Those who make things in These may be severally arranged into 3 distinct groups. 1. Those who make things in the streets. 2. Those who mend things in the streets. And 3. Those who make things at home and sell them in the streets. 1. Of those who make things in the streets, there are the following varieties. A. The metal workers, such as toasting fork makers, pin makers, engravers, tobacco stopper makers. B. The textile workers, stocking weavers, cabbage net makers, nightcap knitters, doll dress knitters. C. The miscellaneous workers, the wooden spoon makers, the leather brace and garter makers, the printers, and the glass blowers. 2. Those who mend things in the streets consist of broken china and glass menders, clock menders, umbrella menders, kettle menders, chair menders, grease removers, hat cleaners, razor and knife grinders, glaziers, traveling bell hangers, and knife cleaners. 3. Those who make things at home and sell them in the streets are A. The woodworkers, as the makers of clothes pegs, clothes props, skewers, needle cases, footstools, and clothes horses, chairs and tables, tea caddies, writing desks, drawers, work boxes, dressing cases, pails, and tubs. B. The trunk, hat, and bonnet box makers and the cane and rush basket makers. C. The toy makers, such as Chinese roarers, children's windmills, flying birds and fishes, feathered cocks, black velvet cats and sweeps, paper houses, cardboard carriages, little copper pens and kettles, tiny tin fireplaces, children's watches, Dutch dolls, Baya brooms, and gutta percha heads. D. The apparel makers, viz. The makers of women's caps, boys and men's cloth caps, nightcaps, straw bonnets, children's dresses, watch pockets, bonnet shapes, silk and bonnets and gaiters. E. The metal workers, as the makers of fire guards, bird cages, and wire workers. F. The miscellaneous workers or makers of ornaments for stoves, chimney ornaments, artificial flowers and pots, in nosegays, plaster of Paris, night shades, brooms, brushes, mats, rugs, hearthstones, firewood, rush matting, and hassocks. Of the last division of street laborers, there are 4 classes. 1. The cleansers, such as scavengers, nightmen, flushermen, chimney sweeps, dustmen, crossing sweepers, street orderlies, laborers to sweeping machines and to watering carts. 2. The lighters and waterers, or the turncocks and the lamp-lighters. 3. The street advertisers, viz. The bill stickers, bill deliverers, boardmen, men to advertising vana, and wall and pavement stencilers. 4. The street servants, as horse holders, linkmen, coach hirers, street porters, shoeblacks. On the number of costermongers and other street folk. The number of costermongers, that is to say, of those street sellers attending the London green and fish markets, appear to be, from the best data at my command, now 30,000 men, women, and children. The census of 1841 gives only 2,045. Hawkers, hucksters, and peddlers in the metropolis, and no costermongers or street sellers or street performers at all. This number is absurdly small. And its absurdity is accounted for by the fact that not one in 20 of the costermongers or of the people with whom they lodged troubled themselves to fill up the census returns, the majority of them being unable to read and write, and others distrustful of the purpose for which the returns were wanted. The costermongering class extends itself yearly, and it is computed that for the last 5 years it has increased considerably faster than the general metropolitan population. This increase is derived partly from all the children of costermongers following their father's trade, but chiefly from working men, such as the servants of greengrocers or of innkeepers, when out of employ, taking to a coster's barrow for a livelihood, and the same being done by mechanics and laborers out of work. At the time of the famine in Ireland, it is calculated that the number of Irish obtaining a living in the London streets must have been at least doubled. The great discrepancy between the government returns and the accounts of the costermongers themselves concerning the number of people obtaining a living by the sale of fish, fruit, and vegetables in the streets of London caused me to institute an inquiry at the several metropolitan markets concerning the number of street sellers attending them. The following is the result. During the summer months and fruit season, the average number of costermongers attending Covent Garden Market is about 2,500 per market day. In the strawberry season, there are nearly double as many, there being at that time a large number of Jews who come to buy during that period on a Saturday morning. From the commencement to the close of the market, as many as 4,000 costers have been reckoned purchasing at Covent Garden. Through the winter season, however, the number of costermongers does not exceed upon the average 1,000 per market morning. About 1/10 of the fruit and vegetables of the least expensive kind sold at this market is purchased by the costers. Some of the better class of costers who have their regular customers are very particular as to the quality of the articles they buy. But others are not so peculiar so long as they can get things cheap. I am informed they do not care much about the quality. The Irish more especially look out for damaged articles which they buy at a low price. One of my informants told me that the costers were the best customers to the growers, inasmuch as when the market is flagging on account of the weather, they, the costers, wait and make their purchases. On other occasions, such as fine mornings, the costers purchase as early as others. There is no trust given to them. To use the words of one of my informants, they are such slippery customers, here today and gone tomorrow.